Hey, everybody, welcome to the Healthy Enterprise Podcast. Thank you for joining me again today. If you've been here before, I appreciate you coming back. And if it's your first time, I hope you enjoy this episode. I'm going to be speaking with Anna Forsythe. She's the founder and CEO of Oncoscope-AI, a groundbreaking platform that brings together real-time oncology treatment data, clinical guidelines, research, and regulatory approvals all in one place. Anna is a clinically trained doctor of pharmacy with a master's in health economics. She's also an entrepreneur, having founded 2 previous companies in the past. She's also an educator, a published researcher, and a passionate advocate for using data and technology to transform cancer care. Let's hear more about Anna and Oncoscope-AI. Hi, Anna. How are you? Thank you for joining me today for this episode. I'm looking forward to having our chat. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
You're very welcome. So why don't you start with doing a little bit of introduction for yourself and the company and to our listeners, and just we'll take the conversation from there.
Thank you. So I'm Anna Forsythe. I'm a founder and CEO of Oncoscope-AI. My background is in clinical evidence generation and market access, so bringing drugs to the market. And I've spent over 25 years of my life trying to bring innovative therapies to patients faster. My company is called Oncoscope-AI. It's a platform that delivers continuously updated AI-powered clinical evidence to oncologists, to nurses, and to basically any healthcare professionals who need real-time insights to support their practice or their decisions on how to treat patients, or their strategic decisions on what are they going to do next with their drugs. That's it.
And what brought you to this point? Like, was there something you were doing in your career prior to that where you said, okay, there's a need for this?
Well, I am a healthcare economist, actually.
Okay.
So after spending 25 years in pharma in different positions in clinical research and development and moving to health economic and reimbursement, what happened is I started my own company. That was
Right.
2016. It was called Purple Squirrel Economics. And in that company, we developed evidence that is needed for pharmaceutical companies to go through their research and development. Every time they need to make a decision, they need to base that decision on a reliable set of evidence. What is there going to be a comparator to their drug, for example? To choose that, they have to justify every decision they make based on evidence from the research. And every time they do a submissions to an FDA or in Europe to an EMA, every time they do a submission to, let's say, a reimbursement company in the United States, like
Right.
Blue Cross Blue Shield, or a government of a country to decide, they need as a basis of it to have a systematic review of the evidence. So what my company did is we did these reviews constantly, and you have to constantly update them. And then we did also analysis, different statistical and health economic analysis, like cost benefit type of analysis, or, so forth. So I had that, and I sold that company in 2020, and I was supposed to retire, but then I realized things. One is I have too much energy and I can't just stop. And 2 is that doctors also need that type of support, not just pharma. Doctors are overwhelmed. There's so much evidence coming down every day. There's articles published. There are approvals from regulatory authorities. There's guidelines updates, although they're kind of behind, they're lagging behind. But there's all that. And then when there's a conference, there could be 2,000 abstracts in one day.
Oh my gosh.
No one has time. And then you're supposed to see patients,
Right.
more and more and more patients. And there's a lot of pressure on the doctors.
Yeah.
They do want, of course, when they have a patient in front of them, they want to prescribe whatever is the best and the newest. And in some areas, especially oncology, if there's something new that can extend life of that patient or improve the quality of life for that patient, they of course they want to use that new intervention. And the issue with that is every week there's something new. Every day sometimes there's something new.
Hmm.
And they simply do not have time to even read the guideline when the guideline is updated. So I thought, why there is such a thing as Expedia for us to travel? And when there is no Expedia for oncology? And what if I create that? Because ultimately, I know how to gather evidence. I know how to summarize the
Right.
evidence.
Right.
And I've been there and I've done that for a different for a different customer base.
Right.
I thought I'd do it for doctors, and that's where I am.
So when you were doing Purple, was it all manual data processing?
Yes, yes, that was pre-AI dinosaur area era, of the world. We did it all manually. It's very time consuming
Yeah.
because there are to do a research, you have to follow guidelines on how to do a research. Everything, we are in a guideline driven environment there, be a regulatory driven. So we have to write a protocol. We have to say, this is what we're going to do. These are the questions we're going to ask. This is how we're going to do it. And this is where we're going to search. So you have to document everything. And every step you do, you have to document because someone needs to be able to follow that protocol and reproduce that exactly.
Right.
And so not only are you responsible to provide the studies that you selected at the end and summarize them, but you're responsible to provide the studies that you rejected and
Oh,
explain why
right.
you didn't include
What's
something.
supported your evidence?
Yeah, it
What's
has
not
to be
supportive? Right.
transparent,
Right.
and at the end it has to be reliable. And there are methods for that. They're called Cochrane methods, and we follow those methods. And so I have done that in the past all manually. But what I did do is I was very frustrated that sometimes simple steps, kind of stupid steps that
Yeah.
I would say any high school kid should be able to do. And we, PhDs, highly paid and educated people, spend not even hours, days, sometimes weeks doing, like reformatting tables or
Oh my
putting all the
gosh.
references together. And then you found out that the regulatory body says, oh, but you looked for these three drugs, but actually we don't want all three, we just want these two. And
Oh
oh
my
my God, that's
gosh.
another weeks of reformatting to take something out, to, do a small change,
Yeah.
because these are long documents. At the end, we're in the document business, right? So I created a platform. It was called Live SLR. The truth is, it was not live, okay, at all, okay? Had nothing live, but it was cool to call it live because you conducted something, you upload it into the platform, and that becomes a database. You
Ah,
can
right.
manipulate that database and create these highly templated reports on demand with a
Hmm.
click of the button. You
Right.
say, oh, I want this. Make me a report, and the report gets printed out. So it was like magic,
Yeah.
that piece. So things that took weeks, and they're mistakes when you do that. When humans do things, there's
Hmm.
mistakes. That was, and it was a very successful product. And that's, I sold my company based on that. And it was used by multiple pharma companies in many, many country submissions. Because, as if you are Pfizer or Merck or J&J, you submit in something in Germany, then in
Hmm.
France, then
Hmm.
in Italy, and they may be slightly different requirements. So
Right.
something that took them then, I'm sorry to say that, thousands and thousands of dollars and weeks every time. Right now was like, oh, 1, 2, 3, 5 click a button, report ready for Italy. Click, report. So they saved money, time, and stress, and they loved it. And that's what I sold. And what I realized is now we have AI.
Right.
So my main dilemma was, well, can I also automate the front of that? Okay,
Right.
that
Of course.
collection of the data. Can I, and I use the word automate versus, it's not necessary AI, because some steps AI is better, But some steps, you could just write a program
Right.
in,
It's just
same
automation.
as
Right.
5 years ago. Automation,
Yeah.
right? You need. I know AI sounds really sexy, and we think we should do AI for
Hmm.
everything, but AI does have its issues.
Well, yeah,
Consist.
because AI does raise flags too for some people because it's so new and maybe not proven yet. Like it does great things, but it makes people nervous.
And AI, the hardest thing for AI is consistency.
Yeah.
Because every time you ask the same question, you could try it. You ask ChatGPT the same exact question, you get a slightly different answer.
Yeah.
Well, that's not acceptable in the world of precision oncology,
No.
and in the word that is templated. And also, AI is not doing really well with numbers, believe it or not. It likes to
Hmm.
invent them or scramble them.
No, no kidding.
It likes to do
Really.
this kind of, and also AI, I guess I feel it's like a human being who doesn't like to disappoint you. So when there's no data or there's something is not quite adequate, it makes things up. And that's okay if you're planning like a 3-year-old birthday party.
Yeah.
I don't think that's okay when you're choosing therapies
No.
for
For
patients.
cancer patients. Yeah, particularly. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's why yes, AI is in the name of my company because there are many steps. The way I see it, if you can standardize something, you can automate it. But if you're not sure how to explain to your grandma what exactly you're doing in that step, and if there is a decision depending on this or that, and you have to say, well, I have to think about that and consider, then you're not ready to automate that step.
Right.
Yeah.
Then you still need the human.
Yes, you do still. So we do have a team of humans, but the key to that is now these humans work 100 times faster.
Right.
Not because I am a slave driver, but because they can, because they don't have to do, as I
All
call,
those repetitive
all
tasks.
the little silly
Yeah.
steps they don't have to do.
Right.
They only have to do the steps where actually the human decision is required, and it's in front of them and it says, we think it's this number, is it, or is it this, and I got it from here.
Right.
So then it's a multi-second decision versus I need to go and actually do
Weeks
that.
of
So that, yeah,
researching. Right.
so it could be, it's a very small team and it works much faster, and then they can accomplish a lot more than a large team doing everything manually.
Hmm. That's pretty fascinating. And so, how has it been? What's the response to this?
The response is actually really great and kind of overwhelming. Uh, we do give it for free to doctors.
Oh,
So I don't know if I mentioned that part.
no, you
It's
haven't yet.
is free. I have decided that doctors need something for free because
Wow.
the truth is, doctors are a bit stuck in their ways.
Yeah, yeah.
And if I want to change the ways they do it, they are more willing to try something when they could try it for free. And I'm not doing it temporary for free. I'm doing it for free
That
for
was my
that.
next question. Is this a limited time only kind of thing?
No,
No.
the truth is we released a first version and we call it essential.
Hmm.
And it is actually what's needed for a physician who is treating multiple cancers and
Right.
just needs to keep up. And it's just really as simple as Expedia for oncology.
Yeah.
You do 3 to 5 clicks and you find all the references and the data you need. And
Right.
yes, it is free and it will stay free.
Yeah.
Uh,
Wow.
we
That's
are
amazing.
and I just talked to one physician this morning, and he loved it. He was just, and it's a physician after physician. We have over 1,000 people signed up in the last 2 weeks.
Oh my gosh. Wow. Physicians, doctors.
Physicians,
Yeah, yeah.
right? Physicians.
Oh, interesting. Wow.
Not all. I do want to say that we do have some people who are nurses,
Right.
they're physician assistants, but they are healthcare professionals treating patients. So
Right.
those are the people that sign up. But overwhelmingly, these are physicians. There's a lot of young fellows who are just about to finish their fellow. Somehow, this
Hmm.
is our niche. they are fellow now, but next month they're starting their practice and
Right.
they're worried. How are they going to get to know they just did their rotation in breast and rotation in lung cancer and they think they know it all, but they're realizing how much it is,
How much they have to know. Yeah.
and they're going to have to keep up, and they're going to have to also pass their licensing and recertification exams all the time. And that's what I hear, that a tool like this would be quite helpful to them
Hmm.
to do that. So that's uh, uh, it's an amazing response. But on the other hand, then I heard from more academic type of doctors who do a lot of research, who are involved in training other doctors, who do research projects and write papers, and they gave us quite a bit of comments
Hmm.
on what they would like to see. They would
Oh, I
like,
see.
you
Feedback
know,
or
right.
improvements. Right, right.
So because they may have a luxury of not looking at it one patient at a time.
Right, of
They
course.
may have a luxury to ask themselves a scientific question.
Right.
What is happening with this one mutation, for example, in a gene? And they want to know the science of everything about that mutation, or what is happening with a particular class of drugs, for example, right? So they may want to know about a small subgroup of patients, what is happening, no, breast cancer patients with brain mutation, with brain metastases, for example,
Yeah.
so they need to be able to search in a more flexible way, and they also want to be able to sometimes go deeper,
Right.
slice the data differently. So we're creating a version for them, and it would be called Edge,
Oh,
their own edge, right?
around the edge, the cutting edge.
We're
Yes.
releasing. I'm hoping to release next month, so August. This is going to be released. That is not free.
No.
Sorry. No, it's not a lot of money. It's, well, it depends on who looks at it, but it's the same price they're paying right now for up to date. There a lot of them are subscribed to this up to date, and
Right.
so let's say it's affordable. And I checked with several doctors, and I say, "Would you pay this amount?" And they're like, "Oh, absolutely! I'm paying
Yeah.
more for this and this and that." So they can use the essential for free. They can continue doing it. But if
Sure.
they're more into a research, if they're going to produce papers, if they want to reference, if they want to report,
Right.
they said, "Hey, I like to report from that because I'm going to make my slides from that." Well,
Right.
that's not life and death anymore. This is not like for this
Yeah.
one. So yeah, so
That makes
that's
sense. I think that's
that's a
very
business
reasonable.
model.
Yeah, absolutely. And then does it go, is there another layer after that
No,
eventually?
at this point, that's it for now. I'm only 12 people. I can think one thing well,
So
3,000 things
you've
at a
got,
time.
yeah, you've
Right.
got all that, you've got all this data going out. Where's the data coming in from?
So what we do is we conduct what I explained, systematic review of the literature. So where is the literature? We are utilizing a publicly available database, which is PubMed.
Mm,
PubMed is a search engine that publicly available that searches Medline and several other
okay.
resources. It is free, and it is publicly available because truthfully we cannot break laws if we're giving something for free, right?
Right, of
So
course.
and also we're searching abstracts in PubMed, and then in addition to that there's another source. It's called clinicaltrials.gov. That's where all the clinical trials are registered, and there's
Oh,
a
I
lot of
see.
details there. And if you link a record of a publication of a trial with a record of a registration of that trial, then you get a lot more insights of the trial.
Okay.
Because when you register a trial, you have to put a lot about patients' criteria. And so we extract information from both of these
Oh,
resources.
very interesting. Okay.
Another resource is FDA approvals
Mm-hmm.
and the labels. And by the way, in August, we're hoping to add EMA,
Oh,
European
wow.
labels and approvals, because we've received the requests, and we kind of respond to requests, kind of working on that right now, making sure people are happy. And so the papers, and also we review multiple guidelines. Currently, all USA around 20 different guidelines, but
Hmm.
American Society of Clinical Oncology is just one of them, but multiple guidelines, because depending on the disease, there may be several guidelines that are relevant to the physicians. And then we summarize all of that into a very easy. So we do not write papers on that. We do not do editorials. We just put data tables, and this very highly standardized. And we have to do that because
Right.
otherwise AI cannot do that,
Right.
right? You have to highly standardize. So that's pretty much it. Oh, I forgot conferences. So there are, because nowadays it's often that major data is presented at a conference, and then an intervention may be approved by the FDA or even introduced into the guideline before it's published in a major journal.
Right.
Sometimes New England Journal of Medicine takes 3 years to get your
Wow.
manuscript in. In the meantime, patient could have been using that, right?
Right.
So we do review, and that's kind of bad days for us because this year we are only at two cancers right now, lung and breast, and we're launching prostate. And when ASCO, American Society of Clinical Oncology, released the abstracts, we had almost 2,000 abstracts
Oh,
to go
wow.
through.
Wow.
And so everybody
A
was on
lot.
board.
Yeah.
Nobody slept. Everybody. There was no weekend, no vacations, no anything like that. So we kind of all, because yes, AI, it takes AI, guess how long to do 2,000? 15 minutes. Review and extract. The issue is we can't trust AI
Right.
because on review right now we're really good. AI gives us 0.2% error. 0.2, which means zero point 0.2, and that's false negative. That means we may miss zero point 0.2. So we are very careful because we review on 4 different criteria independently.
Hmm.
And if we see that AI, if something is rejected just based on one criteria, we re-review all those papers. But extraction, we extract 32 variables from each paper. We create a
Wow.
standardized database, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, and AI is better with some, and it's not as good with others. So the good news is we know which ones AI is
Right.
usually good and which ones it's not. So we know what, but we do review, but it doesn't take that long to review, much less time than actually manually cut, copy, and paste. And all the issues with manual copying and pasting
Right.
or rewriting are completely eliminated
Right.
with this case. So we have a very clean database, which is great because at the end, if somebody wants to do analysis, it's probably the cleanest database they've seen.
So from a business perspective, so right now the edge is your main revenue model, right?
Yes.
And so how is that working? You're at
I haven't started yet. Right now, it's an altruistic organization where I'm losing money every day.
Are you a
That's
nonprofit
true.
organization?
No,
No.
no, because I didn't register as a nonprofit because I plan to profit.
Right.
Okay, uh, uh, first from the sold, the edge, right? But then in addition to that, I hope I will be able to gather advertising revenues,
Mm-hmm.
which is mostly the model of things that are free.
Right.
It's not, I didn't invent that. It's not really very innovative. But the truth is, as I mentioned, we have 1,000 doctors just over the last few
Right.
days, right? So I am gathering when they log in, they they fill a form, and so I know exactly what they are treating and where they are in which institution, and then I know what they're clicking on.
Right.
So in addition to the good stuff I'm doing for the doctors to treat their patients, I'm also, I guess, I am gathering data.
Sure.
I haven't looked at it yet. I haven't really even started processing this because I hope to get to multi-thousand doctor database
Right.
at the end. That is why I've mentioned to you, yes, we have nurses and we know who is a nurse versus who is a doctor, you
Right.
know? So we are gathering that database of physicians, and hopefully pharmaceutical companies would be quite interested in having these eyes of these doctors, especially that we know them by specialty. We know
Mm-hmm.
specifically those that are interested in breast cancer, those that are interested in lung cancer. And considering we plan to launch all the cancers, I believe that the advertising revenue could be quite significant. And
Yeah, that could be, yeah, really could be a really great potential too. What about some sort of like, donation if you find this service valuable, donate to our organization to keep this growing.
have not yet thought of that.
Like, I
The
mean, if a
truth,
doctor really liked it and a doctor's like, I do not want to see this go
yeah.
away, I'll give you $1,000, or
Oh, okay. Find me that doctor. Okay. Uh, the truth is, you know, I I'm an immigrant, and I know maybe you would want to cut that from that whole thing altogether. But on a personal level, I came to this country with $2 in my pocket. I'm not exaggerating. They were literally $2 in my pocket. In my first year in the United States, I worked for $4 an hour, and I did everything. And I saved on food. I know what it is to save on food.
Hmm.
I am extraordinarily lucky. I met unbelievable people on my path who helped me, sometimes with little things, but they were incredibly important things for me. A
Right.
meal,
Yeah.
a hug, a to
A
hey,
hand
let
up.
me help you figure out American scholarship system. A dean in the pharmacy school who I said, I can't go. I don't have that kind of money to pay. And he set me down and he said, okay, let's look at the scholarships, Anna. And I was a good student because I had no choice
Mm.
not to be a good student. And when I sold my prior company, I have never in my life expected to make that amount of money. So the first thing I started doing with my retirement is thinking, what can I do to make the world better?
Right.
Because now that I don't need that, and my children don't need that, they're fine. Okay.
Right.
They graduated colleges, both of them are done with that. Okay. They're
Right.
on their own.
Right.
So can't I help people? And then I realized I have a certain knowledge and I actually have the means. That's not happening very often, that a person has the idea and the knowledge and the means. I am, again, extraordinary. I do consider myself very, very, very lucky. And and my husband doesn't, he's excited that we are doing that. Okay.
Amazing.
I freak out periodically saying, okay, how much more money is this? And then he's like, that's okay, Anna. You will make it back. I'm not in this business to make money. I'm in this business to continue impacting the world. And so, yeah, for some reason, number one question I get is, so how are you going to make money? I need to make enough to grow this to 68 cancers. According to NCCN, there are
Right.
68. According to Leukemia Lymphoma Society, who I spoke recently with, there are 150 something. So, okay, I
Wow.
have a long way to go. And I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it one cancer at a time. And I hope that between the non-free version and the advertising revenue, I'm going to make it work. Okay, based on my calculations.
Sure.
Okay, I should be fine. It is not coming this year, and I'm okay with that. Right now, I am listening to my first users,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm trying to be very, very agile to make sure that I do a lot of changes to what I've already launched. And that's why I haven't launched more cancers. I had prostate ready to launch in March, and
Mm-hmm.
then I said no. Okay, I'm on beta version of breast and lung. I am getting comments. Let me get the improved version. Let me know exactly what the doctors are looking. And each cancer is different. So I am working with expert doctors in each one cancer, at a time. And it does take us time to what we call set up a cancer, to because we have to run it back, to all the search, right?
Yeah.
Keep it up to date is not, it's half an hour a day at
Right.
most.
You called it altruistic, and I think it's wonderful. You're right. And not maybe not enough of that happens, I guess maybe that's why people do start nonprofit organizations, because they're doing something altruistic and it's not intended to profit. But I think what you're doing is phenomenal, and many would say that you're the to be in the position to do that, and deliver that to the world, and to have this vision of making the world a better place. You will reap the rewards in so many ways, and that
Yeah.
that what you put out is you'll get back, double fold, as some would say. But to do things without those expectations, I think is pretty amazing. So I think what you're doing is, yeah, it's very impressive and inspiring. Really, I think a lot of people will be inspired to hear what you're doing with this. And there's probably a lot, I think, there's probably a corporate model too, for large organizations,
Yes.
pharma companies. I think there are ways to.
I mean, there are other things that I didn't even tap into because
Sure. You
I had a
got.
couple of users that were payers, for example,
Yeah.
and they would like to use it to review the request for
Yeah.
prior authorization. I, I, I haven't started this yet because the truth is, I really wanted to get us to having a good tool and being able to launch a cancer by
Mm-hmm.
cancer, and
Mm-hmm.
then I could try to figure it out.
Mm-hmm.
I recently presented to a whole hospital,
Mm.
and then so we may go into a discussion with them. Right now they're testing it, because a lot of people from the same hospital are trying it out, and they said if it works, then they're going to present it to their management to see if this could become a free tool, and whether there's a financial model in that, making it a slightly customized tool for a specific institution.
Mm-hmm.
That there may be possibilities,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Lots of opportunities around
Yeah,
that.
I'm
And
talking to patient organizations. I just talked to one this morning. We're gonna try to. I'm not ready for that because I just can't get enough time in a day. But I would
yeah.
like to do something, a patient version,
Mm.
because that's
That's
definitely an
interesting. Yeah, very much so. And is that how you're spreading the word right now? You're doing a lot of speaking engagements,
yes.
meeting at a lot of conferences and groups, and is that
Right.
you find yet's the best way to get this out?
Yeah, I find that, I mean, the conferences are extremely expensive. Believe
Yeah,
it or not, my most expense goes into not a development, but going to conferences if I get a
yeah.
booth. And so that is, it is kind of sad that the price I have to pay is the same price a pharmaceutical company has to pay, because it's just the same
Wow.
price.
Yeah.
There's no discount for being altruistic. You get
No.
zero discount for that. Okay, you get a smaller booth. Okay, so
Yeah, smaller booth,
but
same price, smaller booth. Wow.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's the same, but it is very helpful because a lot of people just stop by, they get to know that. So
Mm.
usually those are really, really helpful. I'm going to try to do more podcasts, those things. And there's been articles about me in some newspapers or magazines. And so, yeah, it is spreading. Right now, we're okay. We can handle all the requests, and it hasn't been an issue. And I just hired two people and interviewing a third one, and that is on my research team, so that we can put more cancers through. You
Right.
know, so that's main thing. Can we there's two challenges. Can we put more cancers? Can we launch more cancers faster?
Right.
And then how I can get more advertising for the same money. You
Right.
know, that's these are my two challenges right now.
Well, I think there's probably similar challenges to every business, actually. How do I get more money into advertising, and how do I get more staff?
Yeah,
Capacity
right,
and
right.
marketing are the two top things that most businesses
Yeah,
really
but the truth
struggle with.
is, we figured out a tool that seems to be really helpful to physicians, and I think
Yeah.
it is a
Yeah.
major. It's something major that we achieved.
How are you finding this? So in your previous roles, they were your own companies. How different is this one as founder and CEO? How is this one different than your previous companies that you've operated
Um,
for yourself?
the right in a previous company, I have one partner here, and I had one partner in the previous company, so that way it's similar, and it was they were my companies. In both cases I was the majority partner, right? But the previous company was a service company, and
Hmm.
it was a service to a very niche small area within a pharmaceutical company. I mean, health
Hmm.
economic outcomes research is usually a small department within the whole pharma budget. So the truth is, our growth was quite organic. We worked ourselves. I always believe in you just work yourself, right? So I work all the time. I work 7 days a week, and I don't mind that at all, right? But we worked, both of us, and when we felt there was really too much work, we really cannot handle, we would hire. We always hired one person at a time, and then before we knew it, we were 40 people. How did this happen? I have no idea.
How did this happen?
But with this company, what is a bit scary for me
Mm.
is that first half of my company are programming and AI. And the truth is, I'm not only not an expert, I would consider myself worse than not expert in
Yeah.
that. I am technically challenged. Okay.
Right.
Look at us. It took us almost an hour to figure out the podcast. And I was helpless, right? I'm just not good at that. Okay. Uh, this is not my thing,
Right.
right? I am the person who envisions things, and then
Mm.
I say, wow, we need this, and I now can think how that can work. But thank God I met amazing people who can translate that into
Hmm.
technical, how it could be done. I understand the science of it, the data of that. And uh, the biggest difference is this is like a direct to consumer business,
Mm.
right? So this is one doctor at a time,
Mm.
one patient at a time. The other one was companies. So it's
Hmm.
big projects. I didn't need that many projects. Here, I have thousands of people. I'm not kidding. I have 10,000 people on my list, and I like to do one on one. So I started with, oh, I'm going to write an email to that one. I'm going to write an email to that one. And then I realized, Anna, I cannot write more than
No,
200
you
emails
can't.
a day. And
No.
that is a lot. And then I am dead. And I just cannot do that, you know? So to really, I need to really prioritize. And it's not my strength, to say what am I not going to do,
Mm.
because I do want to talk. I want to talk to patients. I want to talk to guideline organizations and do things. And I have 10,000 ideas. So
Mm.
sometimes I need to sit down and say, okay, this is the business plan, we're going to concentrate on this. And I have a hard time not doing all the things that I would like to do, so that's kind of unfortunate for me right now, right?
I don't think you're alone in that. I think a lot of founders, there's a lot of, I've talked with a lot of founders and CEOs, and founders tend to be the visionaries. And the visionaries have a lot of things. They're always visionarying all over the place. They've got a vision for this, a vision for that. There's the short-term vision, there's the long-term vision, and I think they actually have there's so much happening when they're also the CEO, you're also carrying the burden of operating a company, right? And so do you find that at some point maybe you would separate those two and be the founder and the visionary, and then find someone else to do all the CEO stuff, so you could stay in that leadership place but allow someone else to kind of take over all that day-to-day stuff?
I'm sure this is going to happen. I have an amazing team of young people, and they are. This is my favorite part, by the way, of business that I had and a business now. I love working with young, talented people, and I'm not being ageist here, but I'm just saying they're like sponges, the people who really want and teach and kind of be part of them, but help them with their career. To me, that is so satisfying. This
Hmm.
is such an amazing feeling, and they are growing with me and with this company. And, I have people that were at my previous company and then they have grown and now they got their career in pharma or someplace else. And they're senior director, executive director level right now, VP. And they started on an intern level with me, kind of.
Yeah.
And that is an amazing feeling. So I am 100% sure that I have people on my team even now that I am training them, and I'm already saying, oh, you're going to be a COO. Okay. So be prepared for that. For that, you also should know more of a business, should be exposed to that. I don't mind when people want to be exposed and learn beyond their initial job description. That's amazing. That's just great. Finding these kind of people who want to take on more and grow with the company. This is the best part about startup. Really, really the best, exciting.
Amazing. You have you are inspiring. Have so much energy. It doesn't surprise me that you can't stop every day. This whole idea is just really exciting. So I'm really glad we got a chance to talk today. And you've got more to say, and I think you got more ideas in the head. And so hopefully we'll talk again one of these days. And I'm
Hopefully,
looking
yes.
forward to hear how the Edge rolls out, because that's a big step for
Thank
your
you.
company.
Yes.
And do you have any sort of final words, things you want to mention that we haven't talked about, whether it's an inspirational quote for an up and coming executives or
Uh, well, I would say that, I'm going to directly to my business, and I'm sorry to bring my pet peeve in the last inspirational thing. As we embrace AI and innovation and speed, we should remember that rigor and transparency are very important. And without trust, there is no innovation. So I just hope that all the AI gurus right now that get these very, very fancy models and, very flashy front ends, and we all get very excited, that those of us who are close to healthcare and for whom these decisions have to be precise, that those of us would remember that what we've learned in our universities when we did the research, that fast is great, but it also has to be reliable and it has to be robust. So tech can speed things up, but without humans and without rigor, is going to be nothing.
great words to end on. Thank you so much for your time today with me, Anna. I really appreciate that, and I wish you the best of luck. And if people want to reach out or find more information, where can they go?
We have a website. It's oncoscope-AI.com. Hopefully you can put it somehow in words.
I will put it in the notes below for sure.
And I'm on LinkedIn. I'm Anna Forsythe, and happy to talk.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining me today. Very inspiring. People who are that excited and passionate about something, I don't know, they really kind of get you feeling pretty excited, eh? It's pretty amazing. That's one of the first platforms to really unify real-time treatment data and clinical guidelines and research and regulatory approvals all in one place. Powerful, free tool for oncology professionals worldwide. So that's a game changer on how cancer care data is shared, accessed, and applied, and really is like the Expedia for oncology. She has adopted AI and automation and very distinctly identified what she uses them for. She uses both, but AI and automation both have essential roles in helping her make this global impact in cancer care. So very inspiring. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you're inspired as well. So please share this episode. Definitely subscribe and come back for more forward-thinking conversations like that. So I appreciate you listening, and stay healthy, and we'll talk again soon.